After barely surviving the nightmare at the Lomas mansion, Grace sits outside watching the entire estate burn to the ground. Soon, police and paramedics arrive and try questioning her, but the trauma becomes too much and she suddenly collapses. While being rushed away in the ambulance, Grace's heart stops. As paramedics desperately perform CPR, flashes of the horrifying night replay in her mind. The deadly game of hide-and-seek, the family hunting her for a satanic ritual, and the moment dawn arrived, causing the entire Lomas family to explode one by one.
After intense effort, the paramedics finally revive her. Grace wakes up handcuffed to a hospital bed. Detective Bassett informs her that she's now the prime suspect in multiple murders in the mansion. Fire, since the blood covering her wedding dress belongs to other people. Soon after, Grace's estranged sister Faith arrives. The two haven't spoken in years, and their reunion quickly becomes emotional and tense. Faith struggles to believe Grace's insane story about satanic rituals, ghosts, and her own husband trying to sacrifice her. Grace made it pretty clear she had no interest in being her big sister. Faith struggles to believe Grace's insane story about satanic rituals, ghostly visions, and her own husband trying to kill her. Far away, powerful billionaire Chester learns that the entire Lomas family is dead. He immediately contacts several wealthy families connected to the same satanic cult and announces that the seat of power is now available across the world. Different cult families celebrate the news because whoever gains that power will control enormous influence and wealth. Soon after, Chester's children, twins, Ursula and Titus, confront him, demanding the power for themselves. But Chester insists they must earn it properly, according to the cult's rules. Chester shows the twins the powerful master ring, warns them, "You must win back, that's their bloodline." Ursula promises they will succeed. Chester calmly hands them a pillow. Realizing what he wants, the twins work together and slowly suffocate their own father to death. At the hospital, Detective Bassett begins transporting Grace to the station. Suddenly, chaos erupts. A cult member named Bill appears in the hallway and kills Bassett by throwing a knife directly into his neck. He then begins hunting Grace and Faith through the hospital corridors. The sisters barely escape several times, hiding behind desks and inside rooms, while Bill searches for them. Eventually, Grace grabs Bassett's gun and tries fighting back, but Bill overpowers her easily and prepares to stab her. Then something terrifying happens. Bill suddenly explodes. Faith is horrified, but Grace realizes the cult's curse is still active. Bill died because he tried killing Grace before the official game had even begun, breaking the cult's ancient rules. After freeing herself from the handcuffs and reclaiming her bloody wedding dress, Grace and Faith attempt to escape through the elevator. But before they can leave, the family lawyer suddenly appears and knocks them unconscious, using a gas grenade. At the same time, the twins begin taking control of the cult and quietly prepare for the next deadly game. The bride completely loses it, and Titus cruelly throws everyone out of the resort. Soon, the powerful council families gather for a meeting that has not happened since 1963. Grace and her sister, Faith, are brought into the council room tied up and muzzled. A lawyer explains that after Grace won the deadly game, her husband's family exploded, and another family was destroyed for cheating. Now, only 4 families remain, and Grace has accidentally earned the right to compete for the council's highest seat of power. But there is a catch. Grace must survive another deadly game of hide-and-seek against the heads of the remaining families. If they kill her, they win the seat. If she survives until dawn, she becomes the new leader. Grace refuses at first, but they threaten to kill Faith, forcing her to accept. Things get even more chaotic when Francesca, the ex-fiancée of Grace's dead husband, storms in demanding her engagement ring back. Grace casually reveals she threw it at him before he exploded, sending Francesca into a rage. Finally, Titus sedates the sisters while the lawyer officially starts the deadly hunt. The council explains that each family head must hunt using ancient weapons tied to their bloodline, and they cannot kill one another. Grace and Faith are then dropped onto a golf course, while handcuffed together to make escaping harder. The deadly hunt begins immediately. Ursula and Titus chase the sisters through the woods, while other family heads attack from a distance. During the chaos, Faith and Grace argue about Grace marrying into a cult without realizing it. Chen Xing tries to contact Grace through a drone and hints at a loophole in the rules, but Ursula destroys the drone before she can explain. The twins quickly attack, forcing the sisters to run through the woods. During the chase, Faith mocks Grace for marrying into a cult without noticing, while Grace fires back about Faith's rich boyfriend. Titus suddenly ambushes them, but Faith saves Grace, and the sisters escape again. Furious, Ursula blames Titus for failing because they need to win to honor their dead father. Soon, Ignacio spots the sisters with a sniper rifle, but he fumbles the ammo and accidentally reveals himself. The sisters hide inside a garden lounge, where Faith opens a propane tank to create smoke cover. but Viraj attacks them with a sword at the same time. Then disaster strikes. Ignacio accidentally shoots the propane tank, causing a massive explosion. Viraj survives, but Grace is badly injured with metal shards stuck in her arm. The sisters finally escape into the mansion, where Faith painfully removes the metal pieces while they rest. While Faith removes the metal shards from Grace's arm, the sisters finally open up emotionally. Grace admits she dropped out of college and worked as a waitress before meeting her husband, and says she wanted Faith at the wedding but could never find her. Their moment is interrupted when Viraj finds them again. The sisters escape into a maintenance room and use a bandsaw to cut off the handcuffs linking them together. After a brutal fight, they trap Viraj inside an industrial washing machine and accidentally boil him alive. Back in the council room, Viraj's death forces Madhu's family to send a new hunter. Too terrified to fight himself, Madhu transfers leadership to his wife Martina, forcing her into the deadly game instead. When the washing ends, the machine opens, and Viraj tries to climb out, only to drop dead. Grace searches his jacket to find his phone. Meanwhile, Grace and Faith call 911. Now realizing Ursula controls the phone company and intercepts the call, Ursula tricks them into heading toward the main gate. Before they can escape, Chen Xing stops them with a sword, but offers Grace a deal instead of killing her. She reveals a loophole. If Grace marries her son, Grace can survive, while Chen Xing's family gains the powerful council seat. Chen Xing offers Grace a deal. If she marries into her family, she becomes part of the cult and must take part in rituals, including killing innocent people. Grace refuses. Ignacio attacks during the chaos, but Chen Xing blocks him because he cannot harm her. While they fight over Grace's decision, Faith distracts Chen Xing, and Grace accidentally causes Chen Xing's sword to stab Ignacio in the neck, killing him. Ignacio drops dead, and in just a few seconds, Chen Xing explodes, splashing blood all over the sisters. Chen Xing and Ignacio's family members also die shortly after, escalating the chaos. Faith asks why Grace said no to the deal. She replies, "I don't want to spend the rest of her life killing people." Afterward, Grace and Faith finally talk honestly. Grace admits she left Faith behind when she got a scholarship at 18, planning to come back later, but Faith felt abandoned. Faith reveals her perfect life was fake. She never lived in New York and works as a hostess. They argue, then emotionally break down but reconnect, finally understanding each other's pain. They call 911 again, but it's actually Titus. He tricks them into going to the gate. When they arrive, Grace and Faith ambush them. Faith attacks Titus with a sword, while Grace steals Ursula's gun. Grace threatens to kill Titus unless Ursula opens the gate, but Ursula coldly says she does not care if her brother dies. Before the sisters can escape, Martina suddenly crashes through the gate with a car. Titus captures Faith. Faith headbutts Titus to free herself and starts running, while Ursula brutally attacks Grace and stabs her shoulder with a huge nail. Even though she has a chance to escape, Faith comes back to save her sister and knocks Ursula out. The sisters then escape together on the twins' golf cart. Back inside the mansion, the family drama continues as Francesca officially takes over her dead father's position in the cult. Meanwhile, Grace painfully removes the nail from her shoulder, while Faith searches abandoned bags for medicine and pepper spray. But their emotional wounds are worse than the physical ones. They argue again about Grace leaving Faith behind years ago, and Grace cruelly says she was right to leave. Hurt by the comment, Faith walks away, while Grace drinks wine, takes painkillers, and breaks down alone. After their argument, Grace goes after Faith but gets attacked by Francesca, who hilariously fails to use a rocket launcher and nearly blows herself up. The fight turns chaotic when both women accidentally blind themselves with pepper spray and start swinging wildly at random objects. Francesca tackles her and punches her a few times before moving to grab a microphone stand. Grace tackles her before she can attack again. Then she grabs a keyboard and smashes it on Francesca's face. Meanwhile, Titus captures Faith and brutally beats her while mocking her for always slowing Grace down. Ursula stops Titus from killing her, realizing they can use Faith as bait. Titus calls Grace through the speakers and threatens to kill Faith unless Grace returns within 10 minutes. Grace steals a gun from the guard station, kills Francesca when she attacks again, and storms through the mansion searching for Faith. After hearing gunshots, Felipe officially joins the deadly game, but quickly loses his nerve and runs away. Grace keeps searching the mansion for Faith, and even storms into the council room with a gun, demanding answers. Philippe suddenly attacks with 2 pistols, forcing Grace to flee and hide inside a kitchen freezer after running out of ammo. Titus then drags Faith to the freezer and smashes her face against the glass, threatening to kill her unless Grace gives up. Desperate to save her sister, Grace uses the cult's loophole and offers to marry Titus, which would immediately end the hunt. The lawyer confirms the rule is valid, and Titus happily accepts. Grace and Faith finally reconcile and apologize to each other before the servants clean them up for the wedding ritual. Ursula secretly admits she never wanted to hurt Grace and asks to work together because Titus has become dangerously unstable. But moments later, Titus proves how insane he is by murdering Ursula himself, snapping her neck while saying the rules never banned killing your own family. After that, Grace is taken into the basement, where creepy cult members prepare a dark marriage ceremony. A goat is brought in for sacrifice, and Grace and Titus mix their blood together to sign the cult's ancient book. After the dark ritual, Grace and Titus are officially married, making Titus the new leader of the cult. But the celebration does not last long. Grace suddenly grabs a ceremonial quill and brutally stabs Titus in the neck and chest, reminding everyone that the rules never said you could not kill your own family. Faith then kicks Titus into the pit below, where he is impaled on a horn. Grace takes the powerful master ring and forces the cult members to kneel. She then rejects the entire organization and throws the ring into the body pit just minutes before dawn. The greedy cult members immediately jump in after it, turning the pit into a violent bloodbath as everyone kills each other for power. When dawn arrives, everyone still fighting for the ring suddenly explodes in a massive shower of blood because the cult's curse is finally triggered. Even Madhu, who had been hiding safely, explodes moments later. In the end, Grace and Faith survive the nightmare together. After seeing a ghostly figure above the altar, the sisters leave the mansion with a goat, finally free and ready to start a new life together.